Good day to all of you. This is Cindy Mazzaferro, and I am so excited to have Donna Nardelli here with us today. She reached out to me after reading my book and was just so amazing with her comments and her viewpoint on how wonderful, powerful Beyond Measure is and was for her. And I asked her if she would be happy to do this little interview with me to share what she found was riveting for her, pivotal. And so I'd like to introduce you to Donna. Hi, Donna. How are you?
Hi there. How are you today?
Great.
So great to be here.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for being with me.
Oh, you're very
I would
welcome.
love to start with you just telling us a little bit about yourself.
I'm an interior designer by day, and I'm also a near-death experiencer. So I've had some very extraordinary experiences in my life. And so I dabble in some types of different forms of energy healing. And I do speaking engagements in regards to my near-death experience, just to bring that forward. People always love hearing the stories from, to learn about our spiritual selves. And so over time, I just became more integrated with, what else could I bring forward from my near-death experience to help other people? And the whole thing with energy healing is just so powerful right now. And when you think about what's going on in the world with Medicaid and all this craziness with the healthcare system, and there's so much healing out there that you can do for yourself. And just that whole, it's just that whole area is just so massive and it's just exploding. Wonderful. And to reach more people with that information is really, really key.
What just came to me, Donna, was when you said you were an interior designer by day.
Yeah.
I always believed that our past, as you know in my book, really is a launching point from what we actually do in our more mature life, physical life. Yeah. And so, as you said, interior designer, what immediately came to me intuitively is that your work, your teaching, and your experience with the near death, and the message you come back to share with us is so profound because you're actually interior designing within ourselves. And
it is. I call it design. I tell my customers I'm really a design therapist.
I love that. And I often talk about how when your house is having problems, your furnace isn't working, or even your car, they're really symbolic representations of our physical body. So if you're having problems with your furnace, you might be having problems with your heart or, feeling warm and fuzzy towards things in your life. You might
relationships.
Yeah. So it's really amazing. So I just think that your connection to interior design and working with the innerness of us and bringing that wholeness.
The name of my business is Interior Expression. So how's that for you?
Perfect. That goes all right in line, doesn't it? So tell me, what made you happen across my book?
I follow you on Facebook, and then you had posted your book information. I'm like, I have to check this out, because I'm always looking for things to recommend to people that are, suffering and just need to get them that information of what is out there for different types of healing. I mean, there's just, if you start practicing little things, even just if you have a headache, and just learn different ways, different energy techniques just to remove that headache. Because if it's an emotional headache, you can remove it through energy. It's when it's something else, if you have other things going on in your body that might lead to something else. But it's just simple things like that to trigger them to be able to go, yeah, okay, I was able to do this, then what else can you do?
Right.
There's
but even,
so much.
Even if it's related to something else physically, it's all energetically manifested. Even it's created. Our emotions, our energy, our mental, they all have an energetic component to it. But I love what you're saying is that this book gives you tools to empower yourself to create some of those changes in ourselves and taking that personal responsibility.
It is, but you give them, there's so much variety in your book that there's something in there for everybody.
So what was your favorite parts for yourself?
My favorite part is a near-death experience, so to bring somebody through that whole in vitro process, because I think that is it was such a beautiful section of the book. And I tell people, go back and do that. After you're done with the whole book, go back and do that again, because it brings you to that point where, I want people to trip into it and go, okay, I'm divine loving being. I am just pure divine love, and experience that, because that's where we're coming from, coming into the earth realm. You're taking your spirit from that place of, this, I want to call it the heavenly realm, and you're coming into this place. So and the only truth from that place that I had gone to in my near-death experience was there's only love and compassion. Those are the only two things that on your God self that are true. And when you are able to feel that in your own essence and be able to tap into that. So I might say, I might tell them to try to use some crystals when they're doing that exercise and other things, just to amp up that energy and be able to experience that, because it will change your life. It's
amazing.
So
and I talk about this in my book about especially the second third of the book is actually in the present. We're in the present day.
Yes.
In the second third of the book, we talk about loving ourselves and seeing and starting to realize that we are this wonderful divine spirit. We can actually take off our skin and take away our bones and organs.
Yeah.
There's a spirit there. That is who we are. We are not the skin and the hair and the clothes that we're wearing.
And it's so important to be able to love yourself. That is like the biggest thing you could possibly do in your lifetime here.
Yeah.
It just changes you so much.
And I know that was one of the things you shared with me before the interview from your near-death experience, that was one of the things that you came back with that understanding. So talk a little bit about that, if you would.
When I had come back, I actually, all I was too loving compared to what was here on the earth plane, because you're just imbued with this, your soul essence, and there's only love. So I was really freaking people out, because I was just like, oh, you just love everything and anything.
Yeah.
And so it took a while to really.
I want to just take a pause there for a second, Donna. Just because I think what you're saying is so powerful. So just think of what Donna's saying, everyone that's listening to this video, to think if you could be in your life and be so imbued with love, like you just said.
Yes.
Everything you experience. From the moment you pick up a phone, pick up a coffee cup, look out your window, everything you experience.
From the moment you wake up in the morning, it's a new day, and it's just
filled with delight.
Filled with love.
Yeah. And love. And it's how you interact with that energy, because you only see that beauty and love within the world.
Yes.
And so I just want everyone to realize that every one of us should be experiencing this, and that is the ultimate gift we can give to ourselves and the world in response.
Yep. And it's how you integrate that into the world. And, and it really works with a lot of people just very, very intimidated about discussing any personal issues or things that they're going through. And when you're able to actually discuss something that you've been through and it's not affecting you to that, to how it was. And I think by the end of the book, you get to that point where you can say, yeah, I've been through this. And I think you discuss a lot of personal things that you've been through, and you can just go out there and say it. You're not fazed by who thinks what of you or whatever. It brings you to that level where you're just at peace, and people go, wow, you went through all of that. How did you get there? How did you get to that point where you're not affected?
Well, and I want people to realize that even myself and all the personal growth that I've done, I'm still not there. I think and that's perfectly fine. No one's going to necessarily get there, because it's an ongoing spiritual growth experience.
It doesn't end here either. It just keeps going.
Yeah. And if you believe in incarnation, that this is a time where your spirit, your soul decided to come to the physical plane.
Yes.
To experience and grow and learn. And this is not to be viewed as, oh my gosh, I have to go through struggles and difficulties and trauma. It's
said to be the most advanced place for spiritual growth. And it's the most difficult from other people that I'm associated with in my field. they say that the earth realm is one of the most difficult ones to go through. So you'd have to believe in incarnation and, you know, reincarnation and other things to that
But if you
nature. But
believe in a spirit, that you're not your physical clothes and your skin, that there's
yeah,
a spirit, and most people kind of get an idea that, yes, I guess a spirit could come back again. And I don't profess my religion in my book, but what I do is I try to open your thoughts to awareness of how wonderful you are, this
yes.
power that you have within yourself.
No, your book is so gentle when it comes to anything religious. Nobody would feel any type of restriction whatsoever going through your whole book,
No.
which is absolutely beautiful, because I think sometimes, you know, and I notice even when I tell my near-death stories, they're like, I'll have some people come to me and say, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I'm Catholic.
Or
I'm
I
like,
don't
yeah,
believe in
well,
God.
I'm Catholic also, and, you know, you can just put your blinders on and whatever, that's fine, that's your perspective, you know. I'm not here to force my story. I can tell my story, and either you accept it or reject it. It's just, I'm not offended.
Right. Well, my husband's a Catholic, and he is amazed at the impact I have on people. He believes in the Bible. There are healers in the Bible. Jesus was a
Yes.
healer. Jesus was God's son. We are God's children, if you believe in God or the Creator or
Yes. We're
universe.
actually sparks of God. There's actually
Yes.
a
So
wonderful
we are all healers, and it doesn't mean necessarily by touching hands or parting the seas. It could be just being that you're a healer, that you hug someone, or you're a great listener, or you feed the poor, or you're philanthropic. There's so
yeah.
many ways to
There's
be a
just
healer, to show
even
love
just
and
even
compassion.
just sharing your experiences with someone else, you have no idea the power of that. It is just extremely important to just keep that integration going and sharing different experiences, and people learn from that, and you can help one person, but the way the energy works is you know, they say God helps those who help themselves, and I'm like, well, but you know, it's actually implodes to billions of people by the time you're done. You could share one story and it could affect so many people just because we're so connected.
Right, the domino effect.
Yep.
And often I say in this book how when people are gravitate to you for whatever reason, there's a give and take. You know, you're there for them and they're there for you. There's a growing and learning. There's a
Yeah,
famous saying, when the student is ready, a teacher will appear. Well, the
that's
same
true.
thing is true the other way. When a teacher is ready, a student will appear.
Yeah.
And just like you and I, in this exchange, this conversation, there are
Yeah.
moments when you're the teacher and there's moments I'm the teacher. And there's a
Yes.
give and take of energy and love and
It
compassion within
is.
even
It's
just
all
this interview.
collective. Yes. And I think that's a part of your book, that it has that collective part of it. Integrating so many different elements into one book is just fantastic. I cannot tell you how much it is. Just, I can't wait for other people to experience it that I know.
Oh, that's so nice
It's
of you,
just,
Donna. And you know, I've actually had a few reviews that actually say this book is like a culmination of Eckhart Tolle, Marianne Williamson, all
yeah,
of the major spiritual leaders out there that have written books and books and books on so many different topics. This
yeah,
book is amazing. It's a miracle that unfolds perfectly for where you are at your life at this moment. And
yeah.
would you agree, Donna, this is a book that you would maybe go back to many, many times over and over again?
Yeah, it's a book that you definitely want to buy it in print. I'm telling you right now, I regret getting that Kindle. Because it's just, you want to have, yeah, it's something you could just have with you. And, you know, I work with a lot of people that have cancer, and I try to, you know, get them to, you know, and just in people who have cancer is an instance, you can ask them what caused their cancer, and they can tell you. They know what caused it, what part of their, and you know, emotional situation in their life, what led to that. And it's truly amazing. But so I try to go, okay, you know, sometimes you need it when you go into this book, it takes you, and you can't really miss anything the way you laid it out, because it's laid out, as we were discussing earlier, like like your book of life. You came into this world and you went, and you can actually follow your life path. And to pay someone, a coach, to help you go through all of this, you'd be paying thousands and thousands of dollars.
And right now it's on Amazon for $13.56, I think. Or
something. Yeah, it was pretty. It's less now than what it was when I did
it goes
the
up
Kindle.
and down. Amazon gets to change it on its own, but the retail price is only $19.95 if you buy it in the bookstore. So it's still $20 is nothing in today's world.
It's unbelievable, because you can actually go through things, and if you do need some help with coaching, and you get stuck someplace where you're not able to release something that you've been through, then then you go and just get help for what you need.
Well, right. And I encourage people in the book, if you're stuck in certain areas, email me, info@cynthiamazzaferro.com.
Yeah.
And, we can set up a 1-hour coaching call or healing technique. So I'm offering any of that to my readers, and I really look forward to that.
Yeah. And you do Skype for that, or Zoom for
all
your
over
session?
The world, Skype or Zoom. It's just an email. It's just a link. You click on the link.
I think sometimes people read the book and they get intimidated to contact you directly. So I really love that you're doing this here, because you're just so, I want to say, you're a gentle soul. And I feel that, and it's so powerful. You're so gentle that it's powerful. And I want people to feel comfortable being able to reach out to you.
Oh, thank you, Donna.
For that, because I think that's really key, that, if they get stuck, they want to be able to have somebody to go to.
Right. And I love to work with people individually and even in small groups. So if you have a small group that's doing a book study, this is a wonderful book to do as a book study, a collective whole bunch of women get together and you read, the first 5 chapters is the past. You come back and talk about it. You do your own personal work. And in the book, I don't know if you saw, I'm sure you did, in the introduction, on page Roman numeral XXX, which stands for 30. There's a link that gives you 6 free additional gifts, and one of them is a workbook. So instead of writing in your book or on the Kindle, you actually can save the document, label it for 2000, whatever year it happens to be, a month, and fill it out and complete all the exercises. Do the work, because, transformation does not happen by just snapping your fingers or turning a light switch. It's about
it's a process. And I think, as you go through the book and start processing things, and you might need to go back to the book and go back to the beginning again, because you start triggering. It's like unpeeling an onion, but you're going from the center out. And then other things are going to come into your alignment that you're going, okay, where did this come from? And then you can go back and see if it was rooted in your past or where it is. So it's fabulous to be able to actually have the print copy and be able to have everything you need right there.
Right. Thank you for saying that. And I know you've also, you said something to me in an email, which I love to give practical tips, and I talk about this in my book, about energy testing using our fingers, which is called the finger test. So what I'd like to just do is take a moment to explain, this is the finger test, to be able to connect with your spiritual self, the soul, and to come up with an answer for yourself. So if you're trying to find an answer, yes or no is what you really need to be able to identify. So you have to be specific in your question.
Yeah.
This is one way to get a response. And it took me a little while to figure out how to do it. I know, Donna, you said you struggle with this a little bit.
Yep. I still do.
You can practice along, okay, Donna?
I don't do it for life and death situations. Let's put it that way.
But I think what Donna has learned, I mean, she was so fortunate, and I'd probably like to interview another time to really, if you want to share your story of the near death, because I do interview on a different topic on people and what they've gone through in their life. And so I would love to focus on that in a different interview. But she's had that intimate connection to our angelic and heavenly spiritual beings. And just think of that. But we all have that ability to connect to ourselves, which is a conduit to the greater universe.
I can just interject one thing here from my, when I was coming back to the earth realm, I could actually see, I would call it a spark, but there was a spark of me that was still connected to that heavenly realm that was attached to my soul. And many of the near-death groups, they discuss that you can leave your body and your soul's connected to your body so you can find yourself. I'm like, well, this was something different. This is actual spark from your soul to God, to your creator. And the more that you focus on that, the more that energy will expand.
It's like riding the same highway back and forth to work. The more we connect to our greater creator, that passageway, that connection, that highway
goes into automatic.
It goes automatic, and you're going to get greater wisdom, greater insight, and even greater awareness of the path you're supposed to be taking in today's moment.
Yes.
Decisions. So very important.
It's very, very powerful.
It's very, very important. So let's just work on this finger test. It'll just take a minute.
Okay.
So if you can you don't have to rub your hand, but you can. So we're going to always start with the true statement, and what is that? Your name. Okay, we all know our name. So I'm using my left hand.
Okay, left hand.
My middle finger. Just because these two are stronger. So this is a little weaker than your index finger. So I start with that. And if this stays together, then the answer is going to be a yes. If these left two fingers stay together.
Okay.
If they break open when I pull through it, and I'll show you in a minute, then that means it'll be a no.
Okay.
So your starting finger, if they stay together, will be a what? A yes. And if they break open, it's a no.
Okay.
So I'm going to now take my other hand, my right hand, and I'm going to loop it using the same fingers. Loop it in that loop, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to say,
I should have painted my fingernails.
Cindy Mazzaferro, okay? And you'll notice this one, the left hand, stays strong.
Yeah.
And if I go in slow motion, I'm going to turn my hand, you can see that this one, my right hand, breaks open. So this is a yes for me. My name is Cindy.
Okay.
So go ahead, Donna, try it yourself.
It's my name, Donna Nardelli.
Yes. So that was a yes because your original hand stayed tight.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to say a false statement. Is my name Santa Claus? Okay, I'm going to loop it, and my original hand, you notice, broke.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Is my name Santa Claus? As I pull through, this one breaks open. Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead and try.
Oh, it's my name, Marianne.
And you notice it broke open. So once it breaks open, don't close it again. You're going to feel it open.
Yeah.
Try it again. Just see how it opens.
Yeah.
And so one time I was teaching a class, and one of my students says, but I tried it with another name. My second name was Madeline or Marilyn, I think she said. And she goes, it's still just as strong. So I was like, oh my gosh, as a teacher, what do I do? How do I remedy this? And so then intuitively, what came to me is, ask if that name was your name in another lifetime.
Yeah, and it could be.
So it actually tested, yes, that was her name in a previous lifetime.
Yeah.
So we came up with a different name, and it actually worked fine. So you can use the same technique with important questions. Should I stay at this job? Should I look for a new home? And you can even ask things like, as the book reveals things, am I closed off to people? Am I not true to myself? Do I need to spend more self-care time? Important questions that, you are starting to discover as you go through this process.
It is. And I think you get to a point where, I think sometimes our intuition, that people are confusing our experiences with intuition. And they're reacting to an experience, and they need to define it. Am I acting this way because of something that I've experienced, or is this coming from source?
Right. And I talk about the difference about react and respond in my book. And part of that way to do that is through the stop, look, and listen technique, which I also talk about in my book.
Yeah.
Stop when you're experiencing something and you have a negative thought or a negative emotion. You look at it, like Donna was just saying. Is this coming from the past? A perpetual behavior, I always respond. Maybe you're a yeller. Or maybe
Yeah.
you're like, you just sit and quiet and kind of cover, and decide to be very submissive. Is
Yeah.
this a certain behavior I always do when I'm triggered, when this thought's coming or this emotion's coming?
Yeah.
When
So
you're
that's when
looking
it's good to go to your higher self when you're doing this.
Right. So when you're looking at that response in a brain way, you're looking at it. Then I want you to listen to your heart, because your
Yeah.
heart is the voice of your soul. Let me say that your heart is your voice of your soul. So it's a way your soul, which is the connection to source, is
Yeah.
able to tell you what is true to the situation, what you must or need to do. We have
Right.
free will. We either choose often to do what our mind tells us, what we've been doing forever and ever, or we
Yes.
can choose the divine source, the divine wisdom that becomes, that wells up within you, that will
Yes.
only, and always serve your greatest good. Your soul will
That's,
never send you down the wrong road. What
yeah.
sends you down the wrong road is you interfering and choosing the wrong way.
For bad reasons and for
Uh,
just being blind to reality.
Well, and often it's because we fear the unknown. We'd rather do what we've been doing forever, even though we know it gets the same negative or disappointing results,
Yeah.
because it's
That's another
coming, it's
part of the
familiar.
near-death experience that, you come back and you're pretty much fearless about whatever is going on. You're fearless about life and death, but also in the other areas of life. I mean, I never thought I was going to be on doing speaking engagements of my near-death experience, but it was just like, okay, you just go out there and do it. And, sometimes it's just, you just become fearless. I'm like, I'm not sure how good I'm going to be as a speaker, but I'm going to go out there, because you just go out there and do it, and your fear is gone, because it's like, okay, well, the next time you do it, it will be better, because you still have to be new at things. It
But it
doesn't
doesn't
matter how
have to
old
be,
you
you don't
are.
have to be better, because what's coming across, Donna, when you're talking about is your authenticity. You're speaking
Yeah,
your truth, you're speaking your passion. And, again, when I speak and present, I know not everyone maybe will take and gravitate to it, but I also trust that the universe has brought whomever is here, whether you're listening to this video, whether you're on my Facebook page, whether you bought this book, whether you're in a workshop, that the universe has connected us together for a reason. And it's up to, again, your choice whether to buy this book. It's your
yeah,
choice whether to go through the book and try to be empowered, try to be inspired to affect your life. These
yeah,
are all your own personal choices. But I have gotten to the place where I know this book was divinely created, inspired, and it was voices and words from the God, from the
yeah,
Creator, to help everyone out there. And so I also had to not try to worry. Like you said, I'm not worrying about when I speak. I don't
yeah.
have to worry about how far is this book going to go reaching out, because I already know it's out of my
It was,
control. It's been
yeah,
birthed. It's, in a way, a spark. Like you were saying, we're a spark of the divine.
it is.
This book,
And
I
it,
believe, is
it
a
does have,
child.
has its own spark as
It
well.
does. It's a child. It's a part of the DNA of our greater universe. And
Yeah,
so I have to let my child go and allow its reach to find its way into each one of your hands and arms, and embrace it, love it, and actually love yourself in awakening to all that you are.
that's fabulous.
So is there anything else you want to share? I
Divinely
really
guided.
appreciate your time.
I guess was just another part of my near-death experience, and or just near-death experiences in general, was about the book of life, and how your book kind of just resonates with going through your life from the time you were born all the way through the different steps and the different growth periods that you go through. And it gives you a nice vision of, okay, how did, I experienced this, and how one thing led to another thing. And the power of it is that you can actually go back there and go, okay, you see things differently when you go and look at the past again, and you're actually able to clear up some of the things that you would experience, because in the world of the near-death studies, people have these experiences where they experience situations in their life, good and bad, from a different perspective, from a higher perspective, and they're able to see that, nothing is really good or bad. You're just experiencing these things. So it helps you to actually clear up some of the things that you might have to experience there and elevate yourself to a higher level.
I love
I think
that. Thank
that's
you so much, Donna.
that's
Thank you.
great.
Well, and Donna has really shared this book. She was telling me with so many people, cancer or any illness that you might be experiencing, physical illnesses, mental or emotional, or physical. Also, any spiritual people that want to, experience more of your inner passion. What is this spiritual gifts that you have? What am I supposed to do next in my life? All of these types of growth. What other type of clients did you share this with?
Well, you have people that get stuck with their direction, their life path per se,
Yeah.
but they get caught up with financial things in their mind. So I try to tell them to go through the book, because a lot of times, even my own kids, they might have hangups because of, I might have had financial issues that they picked up. And I try to tell them, and I just tell them straight out, but, it's your life, and you can decide if that is, if that's no longer, if that's playing out in your life, how to remove it and put your life on the track that you want to be on. So they're not really, I said, you can't go around blame me for your money problems. You have to create your own and clear out whatever's not working for you.
I love that, Donna. And we talk about that in the book too, about not taking on other people's problems. Because what you just heard Donna saying, which is so important, which is what my book's all about, is empowering yourself, and in her case, empowering her children to take responsibility for their own lives. And what she's really doing is setting boundaries, not because she's protecting herself, but because I'm not going to rob you of trying to protect you, to solve your problems. You need to solve it, because remember, this is your spiritual life.
It is, and for them to expand, we obviously want our children to expand to whatever degree that they are capable of, right, or wish to experience. So we don't want to hold them back.
Right. So I encourage everyone to get out of other people's businesses. Doesn't mean you can't be there supportive. And even actually, Donna was supportive, because in her verbiage back to her children was, don't blame me for you not having enough money. Set your course of action to create everything you want in your life, and find out what is holding you back. And so her support wasn't saying, this is your situation, you're empowered, you have the power within yourself, which is my subtitle, claiming your power within to allow you to be powerful beyond measure in every capacity. So in your relationships, in your job opportunities, in your family dynamics, in your abundance, your financials, everything.
We're all connected to the divine, and we all have that flow that we can tap into. Exactly,
around all areas of your life. So I really encourage you all to go out, don't wait, go out and purchase Powerful Beyond Measure. You can do it online, any online vehicle, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Indie, BAM, or go to any bookstore. My publisher and distribution is around the world. Ask them, they'll order your book, and you'll get it in 2 or 3 days. So there's no reason for you not to be able to get this book, both in print version or in the e-book version. So it's,
and you will be blessed.
Oh, thank you. Well, and I want to tell everyone, Donna and I've never met Donna. She reached out to me. So again, this is how the universe responds to people when you are aligned with your divine purpose and destiny. And Donna, I will definitely reach out to you again. We'll set up another interview time where you can actually share your story on near death, because I believe there are so many people, and I've interviewed other people too with near death, to hear the story of that intimate connection with our angelic and heavenly spiritual beings is so powerful, and it will help you to transform the importance of why we need to transform how we view our life today in the physical world. So thank you, and blessings to all of you, and we'll see you on another live video. Please message me or email me at info@cynthiamazzaferro.com. My Facebook page is The Power Within, Cynthia Mazzaferro, or Powerful Beyond Measure. Take care, and many blessings to you all. Thank you, Donna, for being here. Take care.
Bye-bye now.